Adam, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Welcome to Dances with Films.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
It's your first time here?
It is. Yeah.
And what's your impression of the event so far?
It's been great so far. I mean, it's. I've heard a lot about this festival over the years. It has a very good reputation. I have a lot of friends who have screened here, and they've been saying terrific things. And so far, it's definitely living up to that. Everyone's very. It's so well organized, and everyone's just like deeply passionate about film, which is nice to be around.
What film are you bringing to this event?
I'm bringing a short entitled Five Families. It is about a career criminal who's kind of at the end of his life at a time when the mob is sort of going out of fashion and the cops are cracking down. And he knows it's over, and he wants to save his youngest grandson who's starting to follow in his footsteps from making the same mistakes.
All right, so it's a drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's the inspiration behind this story?
Well, I'd always wanted to do something in the gangster genre, but
Cool.
taking a different approach. But really, it was just the actors who inspired it. Barry Primus, who plays the lead actor, who plays the character Frank in the film, was someone who I knew and had wanted to work with. Same with David Proval, who plays Benny. And, those guys had been playing parts like that for a long time. And getting to know them, I just started to formulate the characters based on that, and then the script came out of that.
Did anybody get to sleep with the fishes or get whacked?
Not yet. Day ain't over.
So talk a bit about the joys and the challenges of making an independent film such as this. You know, we're here at this event celebrating indie films.
Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, all independent filmmaking is a joy because it gives you a certain urgency and a certain level of control over your art. And it's just very exciting going on that journey. Every time I do it, it's new and you don't know what's ahead, but you don't even know how you're going to pull it off. But that's part of the fun, I think.
I forgot to ask you this. I'm sure when we talk about gangster movies, Martin Scorsese comes to mind. But any influence out there on your story?
Yeah, there's a number of them. Certainly,
Style-wise, tone-wise.
I think I don't know how much it's an influence because I don't really know how my consciousness works in that way. But the first one that comes to mind that I really liked is one of my favorite films in the last 10 years was Animal Kingdom.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
yes,
You saw it?
David,
Yeah.
David McCott, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's an
Australian
amazing film.
gangster.
Yeah, and I love that film because one of the reasons I love it is because it's just about the family, but also that you never see any of their crimes. It's all
Yes.
left in the negative space. The only thing you get, remember, if you see in that credit sequence in the beginning, the security cam footage. That's all you get,
Yes.
and the rest is just kind of the aftermath.
And Jackie Weaver was so scary in that
She was
movie.
amazing in that. She should have won, dude. She
I
was so
know,
good.
right?
Yeah.
So, what's your next project?
Next project is a film called Brandon's Arms that I'm working on. It's a feature. I'm producing with David Phillips, who helped me produce this. And
It's also a gangster?
no, it's a true story based on a shooting in the 90s and the subsequent trial.
All right. Now, before I let you go, what is your advice for aspiring independent filmmakers out there?
I mean, it's always the same. It's just go make your film. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait on the financing. I mean, get enough to get going and just watch it all come together because it most likely will. But don't wait on permission. That's the main thing. That's why you're making indie films.
Lawrence, how's it going?
It's going great.
Good. Welcome to Dances with Films. It's a great event celebrating independent films.
Absolutely.
So, what movie are you bringing to us to this event?
I'm in Five Families, which is directed by Adam Cushman. Good old gangster movie.
Nice. Are you yourself a fan of gangster movies?
Yeah, when I was like 14, 15, doing high school in Australia, I would stay home from school and watch early Scorsese gangster movies, Goodfellas, Casino, even Gangs of New York, just really, really well done gangster movies, and thought, basically, that's what I want to do with my life. And to have the opportunity to be in one that's made Adam Cushman's up there with this movie. He did a fantastic job with this movie. And Barry Primus, who was in those movies, those early Scorsese movies, is playing my grandfather opposite me in the film. It was like a boy's dream come true. And now we're here, and I get to see it on the big screen, Chinese theater. Amazing.
Yeah, you get to co-star with a legacy, Barry Primus. I want to ask us, one of the best gangster movies of the past couple of decades is from Australia, Animal Kingdom.
Oh, yeah.
You know that? Yeah. So I'm a big fan of David McCott. Did anybody get whacked? Did anybody get to sleep with the fishes in this film? How violent does it get? Oh,
I can't tell you that.
okay, that's spoilery. Got it, got it. Okay, I want.
No, I just want to protect you.
Oh, you have to kill me if you tell me, right? Is that what it is?
We have a code.
With them code. So, talk a bit about the joys and the challenges of making an independent film such as this one. You know, low budget. You know.
Joy. I mean, it was just all joy. I mean, there wasn't many challenges to face other than, showing up to rehearsals, collaborating with this team, and showing up to set. They were totally professional, so they had the resources they needed. It wasn't like that, and
The schedule's pretty tight.
No, it was a tight schedule, but they had what they needed. There wasn't many challenges, to be honest with you, man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, what's your advice for aspiring actors out there trying to make an uphill climb into this business?
Know who you are inside, because everyone's going to tell you no 500 times before you get that yes, and then everything changes. So just know who you are.
That can get discouraging. The no's. Definitely.
Yeah, right. It makes you stronger. It makes you more aware of why you're doing this, I think, the more no's you get. A lot of people will fall away, and then you'll be there at the end, being like, I'm in a gangster movie at the Chinese theater. What?
Yeah. Joe, how's it going, Joe?
It's
Good.
great.
All right. Welcome to Dances with Films.
Thank you.
Is this your first time here?
Yes, first time here.
All right. What's it like being at this event celebrating independent films?
It's incredible. It's so special because, you talk to so many people, so many fellow artists, and they say to themselves, not only does everyone have a story, but they all, they all want to make something and they want to put it on a platform and whatnot. Because there's a different, world from the studio world and the indie world. And you talk to your artists and you say to yourself, oh boy, if there's just one spot where we can, get everything to be seen and whatnot. And I mean, Dances with Films is it. I mean, and I love the slogan they have, like just no nonsense. We just want the real stories and whatnot. So it's incredible to be living in a time where not only the technology is around for everything to get across, but,
Great day for storytelling. Great day for storytelling.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to ask you 5 families. Why 5, not 4, not 3?
Well, 5 families, I mean, my director could probably answer this, but 5 families probably from, I believe it was all mafia related in New York. And so that's where it comes, because the film is about the Jewish mob, the Jewish mafia, and I play the grandson of one of the head gangsters who's looking, to try to get me out of the world because he knows, I'm not right for it and whatnot. So, but 5 families definitely comes from a mafia-related term.
Were you always a fan of gangster movies?
Not originally.
Okay.
I got into them when I got older, I guess. First one I saw was Goodfellas, and then when you see Goodfellas, then you get hooked on.
That's like the Bible for.
Oh, of course. Oh, absolutely. You're right. There's The Godfather, then Goodfellas.
Oh, definitely. So, what is about that Adam's story that's so unique and special and stands out compared to others?
Adam's story. Yeah. Adam's story is incredibly unique. It brings, first of all, compared to the other films, or going along with the other films that are great, it brings a level of depth. That's with our short film. You really see the souls of all our characters, and that sounds very cliche, but you really need to see the movie to see the depth that everybody takes it to. Number one, and number two, I would say that it's all authentic. It's all real. There's no fake violence. There's no glorified mafia stuff. It's just all, if this family was around today, not only that, dealing with the circumstances of the world today, because the mob isn't that prevalent anymore. So what does the mob look like in this reality and in this real world? That really hits it. The mob is dying. So what does a mobster, a mob boss really do with it? And really trying to get somebody out, my character, out of it who really isn't cut out for it. So it really is the depth that there is with it, the humanity, and the realism. I would say, in modern contemporary times.
I'm sure it's spoiler if I ask you whether or not your character will get whacked in this film, right?
Ooh, yeah, I guess it is a spoil. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything, but yeah.
Well, one final question. What's your advice for aspiring independent artists and independent actors out there trying to make it in this business?
Do it because you love it. Do it because you love it.
It's hard out there.
It's very hard, but do it because you love it. Don't wait for any destinations. Don't wait for any platforms or anything. Just do it. Because, you know, I so many actors that I've heard of too, and it's really true. I mean, you know, like 4 years ago, I would have never thought I'd be at an LA Film Festival with this behind me being interviewed, you know? And, you know, and there's even, you know, that this is an incredible level, but there's, you know, there's higher levels to this and lower levels. Everyone's doing the same thing. You know, we all have a story to tell, and just do it because you love it.
David, how's it going?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
Not bad, thank you. Welcome to Dances with Films.
Great to be here. It's a lovely film fest. That's actually my second time here.
Oh,
I had a feature film called Moments of Clarity, and that premiered here. I think it was 3 years ago. So it's nice to come back, see some familiar faces, and this is a great, gorgeous theater. So it's always fun too.
Yeah, it's always good to hang out with like-minded people, artists, you know,
Absolutely.
with passion projects.
Totally, yeah. And you know, a lot of the filmmakers are local as well, so it's kind of nice. There's friendships. It's funny that Lawrence Fuller, who you're talking to, I met him at a Dances with Films 3 years ago. He wasn't in my movie, but he just was here. We got along, stayed in touch, and now we have a short here together. So it's part of the fun.
Oh,
you know?
I thought you discovered him in Australia. Okay. cool guy. Now I'm going to ask about this 5 families.
Mm-hmm.
Why not 4, 3 families?
Well, you know, when I'm from Toronto and I used to play hockey, and my number is 5. So I just was like, that's my favorite number. I need to have a short film with that number in it. So I'm just kidding. Well, the mafia families back in the day, there were 5 distinct families, and so this is a mafia story, and so that's what they actually were referred to back in the day. So I'm actually surprised that there isn't a movie already that exists with the title 5 Families, because that's kind of what was known as the 5 major mafia families at the time back in the day, Prohibition, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah,
and they're not that prevalent anymore these days, right? The mafia, I think.
I mean, it depends who you talk to. I don't think they are as much, but I mean, you know, there's still people that believe that they have some, you know, hidden agendas and hidden things going on. So, yeah.
So what is it about Adam's project that makes you say, I want to produce this, I want to be involved with this?
Honestly, it was Adam himself. He's a great dude, and we did a film called The Maestro that was very successful. We're really proud of, and so while doing that, he had this other project. He has a feature and a few features that we're going to potentially work on, and this was the next thing he really wanted to do. He really wanted to do this short film that he'd written, and so I was like, yeah, I'm on board. I'm there.
Is there a theme that you want the audience to take away from 5 Families?
I mean, it's tough because I usually like people just to watch it and get their own sort of thing, whatever. I just would be like, you know, that's obviously just how, you know, in everyone's life, their past affects them, either physically or mentally or whatever. And so it's about trying to escape that past and things we have to do. And then you can draw your own conclusions of how successful some people are more than others.
Last question before I let you go. What's your advice for aspiring artists, aspiring independent artists, independent filmmakers out there, you know, to make it in this business?
Make stuff. Just make stuff. Don't get too cocky. Don't wait for the perfect thing. Just do it. And the more you do, the more you meet, the more you get to know, and the better your things are. I think everyone's a lot of the times artists are afraid to suck, and so they have their idea that they're precious with. But my advice is honestly, don't be afraid to suck. Do things and just keep doing them. And even things that you thought were great might not be as good as you thought they were going to be, and things that you thought weren't going to be that great turn out great because you brought a lot of people on board, you know, and they made it better. And so just make stuff, and surround yourself with people that want to keep making stuff.
What about the budget obstacle?
Budget obstacles? Look, everybody wants a huge budget, but even that, I would say, you know, when you're first starting out, spend as little money as possible because you're going to suck. So get that out of the way cheaply, as opposed to the person that has their first film that has a $20 million budget. You'd rather do something that has a couple $100,000 and make that your first, and then learn. So then, by the time you get to those budgets, you like are rocking it and know what you're going to do. So yeah, always, you know, there's certain things that, you know, I'd wait for bigger budgets, you know. But if there's a way that you can do it for the budget, just go ahead and do it. It's better to make something and learn from it and make it better as you go than to not make something at all.